Now, in the wee hours of December 9th, soldiers from India and China clashed in Yangste. This is an area in the upper reaches of Tawang in India's Arunachal Pradesh. The soldiers fought with stones, clubs and sticks with spikes. While there were no fatalities from the Indian side, is Beijing opening up a new front with Tawang? And why so? Here's a report. The boundary issue at the LAC is back, one that's central to the India-China relationship. More than 2 years after the deadly Galwan clashes, the Tawang skirmish is part of China's grand strategy to unilaterally change the status quo on the boundary, a stance also reiterated by India's defense minister.
भारतीय सेना ने बहादुरी से पीएलए को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया। अध्यक्ष महोदय, इस झड़प में दोनों ओर के कुछ सैनिकों को चोटें भी आई हैं और मैं इस सदन को अवगत कराना चाहता हूं कि हमारे किसी भी सैनिक की न तो मृत्यु हुई है और न ही कोई गंभीर रूप से घायल हुआ है।
While the LAC face-off has divided Indian politics, the international community has taken a united stand. The US has sent a stern and unambiguous message to China.
Though, and it's important to point out the growing trend by the PRC to assert itself and to be provocative.
We are glad to hear that both sides appear to have quickly disengaged from the clashes. We are closely monitoring the situation. We encourage India and China to utilize existing bilateral channels to discuss disputed boundaries.
In fact, CNN News18 has reached Tawang, and here's what we found.
After the clash that happened on 9th of December in Tawang Sector of Arunachal Pradesh, CNN News18 has reached ground zero in order to bring you actual ground reports. And today, I'm standing here in Tawang Market area.
कभी कभार के हल्का फुल्का होता है, हाँ। लेकिन अबकी बार थोड़ा ज्यादा हुआ है।
अच्छा, आपकी बात
हाँ, सुनने में आया है,
हाँ।
लेकिन यहाँ का आर्मी तो बहुत अलर्ट है ना,
हाँ।
हाँ, इसलिए यहाँ डर नहीं है कुछ।
यहाँ डर नहीं है।
नहीं है यहाँ कुछ।
आर्मी अलर्ट है।
हाँ, आर्मी अलर्ट है।
While the situation on ground zero is under control yet alert, Tawang remains central to China's grip on Tibet. So what does the dragon aim to gain? In tactical terms, capturing the heights would have given China visibility advantage of up to 25 to 30 kilometers, meaning no need for patrolling in the harsh winter months. But Indian troops stood their ground and sent the PLA packing to their posts. Beijing first tried to downplay the incident and then played the victim card, accusing Delhi of illegally crossing over.
We hope India will move in the same direction with us, implementing the important consensus reached by the two leaders and act in strict accordance with the spirit of agreement and protocol, with the spirit of agreements and protocols that the two sides signed earlier, and jointly maintain peace and stability in the Indo-Chinese border area.
With China's duplicity completely exposed, how should India respond? With Akash Sharma in Tawang, Bureau Report, CNN News 18. All right, let's try and get in a sense of perspective in terms of what this means for India and the LAC. I'm joined in by former senior diplomat, Ambassador Vishnu Prakash. Ambassador, thank you for joining in. Now, the recent clash at Tawang has clearly escalated the risk of military confrontation at the LAC, with diplomatic relations already with China at their lowest ebb and no strategic dialogue at the highest levels of leadership between India and China. Can the impasse at the LAC be managed purely by tactical level talks? And how can India evolve its China policy at a time when our trade with China is at an all-time high?
The fact that we have a import dependence on China, that we have a large trade with China is a challenge, and is something that we have to deal with, because this is not a happy state of affairs. But China also happens to be a country which has an international trade of something like $6 trillion.
Right.
And we have dependence on China for very important items like electronics, machinery, pharmaceutical ingredients, and so on. So it takes time to diversify, find alternative sources. Yet that effort is on through Make in India, through PLI scheme, through raising of tariffs. So all efforts are being made. This process is going to be slow, but yes, we'll continue our efforts to expanding our manufacturing base. Now, as far as the situation on the LAC is concerned, the entire LAC is alive. They have amassed 50 to 60,000 troops. As you know, that infrastructure is being established at a breakneck speed. So their intentions and designs are quite clear. So what can India do? And it's not just tactical level negotiations. We are engaging with them at all levels, at the levels of the foreign minister, of NSA, of military. So that is, we are engaging with them. And there is no choice but to engage in a meaningful dialogue, but it takes two to tango.
All right.
I mean, we cannot do it alone.